Hey, in today's video, I'll show you how we took this client's ad account from spending on average around $200 on one lead all the way down to spending only $9 per lead. Just real quick, my name is Henry. I work with a digital marketing agency called Ad Elevation, and I've been running paid advertising for over 10 years now. Not only do I run a digital marketing agency, I've also scaled multiple businesses, my own and others, including e-commerce, lead generation, and others, from zero all the way up to multiple seven figures. Now, if you'd like to know how you can scale your business the same way we did this one and really get these amazing results, stick around as I'll walk you through step by step everything we did and what you have to look out for. Now, just real quick, a little bit of background on this client's business. This client is in the energy sector and is targeting pretty much the US only. And this is a lead generation business. So unlike most other businesses we've worked on in the past, which are e-commerce based, this is actually a lead generation business. So we had to adapt and change our usual strategy a little bit here, as things like shopping campaigns aren't really usable. For the initial account setup, this client was already running Google Ads and they were spending about $300 to $350 a day, but they were going for a hyper targeted approach, which is not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to Google if you do want to hyper target a specific audience. But if you want to get cheap clicks and cheap leads or even cheap purchases, then the more you narrow down on Google, the more you're going to spend as you're entering a very, very specific auction at a very specific bid. And Google doesn't have the option to look for cheaper purchases or cheaper leads or cheaper clicks for you just because you narrow it down so much. And this is why this strategy wasn't really working. As you can see here, they were spending around $300 to $400 a day, getting one or two leads a day, resulting in an average cost per acquisition of around $200, which is insanely high and hardly profitable. Here's what we did. What our strategy was going into it. So the problem with the ad account is they were targeting only one state. Not the fact that it's only one state and you're already limiting your target audience so much to a very narrow field of people. It's also the most expensive state when it came to this niche. What we did is we completely broadened the targeting. Leads aren't worth the same in this sector based on where they're from. So we had to come up with a system where we can target all of the US, really get more leads for a cheaper price, while still making sure that the client is making enough profit here. So what we did is we came up with a bit of a tiered system where we say, okay, these kinds of states are worth this much, these kinds of states are worth a bit less, so we bid a bit lower here, and so on and so forth. But it allowed us to really broaden the targeting and target US wide. The next thing we did is identified high intent keywords and really go with those rather than the ones they were targeting before, as well as did some changes when it came to the landing page. Before, the client had an issue with tracking. So because they were using a specific landing page that they built for Google Ads and they tested it with their usual landing page, which was a blog page, and somehow the tracking setup wasn't working. So we had to fix the tracking setup, and then we went and tested everything again. And what we found is that the blog pages that were converting for them in the past using SEO are actually converting way better than that general landing page that they had built for Google Ads. So now we have multiple landing pages we can target, targeting different keywords and potentially different interests. That allowed us again to scale even further, cast a wider net. And we haven't even fully started scaling yet. We're still in the testing phase. So yeah, once the account started performing and we did all the changes to the search campaigns that we had initially set up, we then eventually launched a Performance Max campaign, which really took this account to a whole nother level. So we went from getting pretty good cost per acquisitions and making good profit to getting fantastic, just crazy good CPAs of like $3 to $4. If you can see here on the Performance Max. So instead of spending $200 on a lead, we brought it all the way down to spending only $4 a lead. And this is highly profitable for our client. Let's just quickly look at the results. So before, as you can see here, they were spending very consistently, a very consistent amount, but not getting results, right? Only one or two leads a day, resulting in a crazy high CPA. And after we made the changes, implemented our strategy, going more broad and trying a Performance Max campaign, you can see the CPA completely dropped. It flatlined from going haywire in the beginning, completely flatlined, and is now at a very consistent around $10, even as low as $7 or $6 on some days. very low consistent CPA. Here's why this worked and how you can do it too. So basically, as it has been the trend with most of these online marketing platforms like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and also Google, the more narrow you target, the more you're going to pay for a click, the more expensive the views, the impressions are going to be, which makes a lot of sense because you're only entering one auction, that specific auction. That the more you narrow it down, the less you give these platforms, the machine learning, the algorithm, the option to find you the cheap conversions, the cheap clicks. If you are running lead generation business and you're running Google Ads already and you've tried things out and things are not working, probably because everything is too expensive and not profitable for you, then here's what I recommend you do is go more broad. If you do one thing, is go more broad if possible. Obviously, if you say you run a lead generation campaign for roofing, right? You want to sell someone a service to get their roof fixed, and you have someone who needs, who's looking for clients, and you are generating leads for them for potential clients. And maybe this guy he can only work in a specific city in one specific state, then obviously there's not much room for you to go broad and you will have to target very narrow. However, there's still options for you to go as broad as possible. And one, in terms of going with broad keywords rather than with super targeted keywords, trying multiple landing pages. And lastly is trying a performance max campaign and not just sticking with search only. Obviously, search is fantastic and it works. It is very limited by the search volume, by people searching in your area. Whereas performance max, it has a bit more inventory that it can draw from, be it YouTube, be it Discovery, be it Gmail. And you can not only find leads in different spots that you wouldn't be able to find through search, but it also has the retargeting element, which allows you to people that have come to your website and didn't end up filling out your form. You can retarget them this way, and they might come back and still do it. And lastly, what's most important is you always have to A/B test and try out different things, right? Be it different ad copy, different creative, different keywords, different account setups, even different strategies, different structures. This is what worked for this client. From going hyper targeted, hyper focused, going super broad. And this allowed us to not only scale further, now we're up from $300 a day to spending $700 a day and getting them roughly 30 times the amount of leads they were getting before for the same spend. A lot more leads than before with the 1 or 2 a day. And we haven't even fully started scaling the account yet. There's still a lot of room to grow. As you can see, all of these search impression shares at below 10%, which is the lowest Google will show you. So it could be, for all I know, it could be at 2 or 3% or 1%. There's a lot of room for scaling still. I hope you found this video helpful and learned a couple of tricks that you can implement into your own business. And it would be super awesome if you would consider liking and subscribing, of course. And also leave a comment if you have any questions, anything is unclear. I personally answer every question, as I would love to help you succeed with your Google Ads if you're struggling. And lastly, if you would like to work with me directly, then there will be a link in the description below to my website where you can book a free consultation call and see if we can come together, if we can help out your business. Until next time, bye-bye.